Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Today marks the second-year anniversary of the deadly January 6th attack on Congress, when Donald Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, some chanting "Hang Mike Pence," his vice president, others looking for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, some waving Nazi or Confederate flags and yelling racist slurs at Capitol Police of color, many attacking police officers. It was an effort to overturn Joe Biden's presidential election win after Trump falsely claimed it was stolen from him. Since then, hundreds have been convicted of crimes for the attack, including a founder of the Oath Keepers who faces decades in prison for espionage charges. High-ranking members of the Proud Boys are about to go to trial for their role. Jury selection has been underway. Today, President Joe Biden will commemorate the Capitol attack by awarding the nation's second highest civilian awards to 12 individuals involved in defending the Capitol that day and stopping Trump's efforts to undermine democracy, including a Republican lawmaker, Arizona's Rusty Bowers. He testified before the January 6th committee that he refused Donald Trump's personal request to help him overturn the election results by giving Arizona's 11 electoral college votes that Biden won to Trump instead. Bowers refused, citing it was against his oath of office to do so. Biden is also recognizing Michigan's Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, election workers Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss, and several law enforcement officers, including posthumously to Brian Sicknick, who died, and former officer Michael Fanone. Fanone was among a group of veterans to rally outside Congress yesterday ahead of the anniversary. Ellie Prickett Morgan has more.
Officer Fanone penned a letter now signed by over 1,000 members of law enforcement and supporters calling on Republicans to condemn political violence. Fanone is also a member of Courage for America, a new organization speaking out against political extremism and violence. It denounces MAGA Republicans in Congress for promoting conspiracy theories, sham investigations, and election lies to hold on to power.
The worst part is that our elected leaders allowed this to happen. And yet this week, people who encouraged and even attended the insurrection are now taking their places as leaders in the new House majority. People like Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who said insurrectionists would have won on January 6th if she had been involved. Or Representative Matt Gaetz, who encouraged voters to arm themselves at the polls.
The implications of political extremism infecting the American government are playing out in real time with the chaos in the House of Representatives, where the GOP is incapable of securing a new House Speaker despite having the majority. But veterans like Fanone are warning that until we combat the forces of right-wing radicalization, this chaos is just beginning. I'm Ellie Prickett Morgan.
Lawmakers at the House of Representatives will convene for another attempt to select a leader as a group of some 20 hardline Republicans continue holding the chamber hostage over California Republican Kevin McCarthy's bid to lead the GOP. After 11 rounds of voting, Congress adjourned last night without selecting a House Speaker for a third straight day. The House cannot function without a leader. No laws can be voted on. No members can be sworn in. The contours of a deal that could make McCarthy House Speaker have begun to emerge. He's determined to win over enough fellow Republicans and has some 200 votes, but needs 218. McCarthy's offered conservative holdouts rule changes to give them more power to shape legislation and to boot him from office. Debate begins today. Yesterday, Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries called on Republicans to get it together.
So we can have the back of the American people. That's what we were elected to do. That is what Congress should be doing. In the face of a global pandemic that continues to be with us, in the face of inflationary pressure all across the land and throughout the world, and in the face of a dangerous conflict in Europe, the biggest conflict since World War II. These are serious issues that require the attention of the United States House of Representatives. It's time for the Republicans to get their act together.
Hakeem Jeffries. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has ordered Moscow's armed forces to hold a 36-hour ceasefire in Ukraine this weekend for the Russian Orthodox Christmas holiday. But air raid sirens blared across much of Ukraine today as it's uneasy over Russian attacks. No attacks were immediately reported. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia will continue to strike Ukraine. His comments were translated by Al Jazeera.
Those who continued the terror against our country and sent all these people of yours to be slaughtered, rejecting our proposals to stop Russian aggression, definitely do not value life and, moreover, do not strive for peace. They now want to use Christmas as a cover, albeit briefly, to stop the advances of our boys in Donbass and bring equipment, ammunitions and mobilized troops closer to our positions. What will that give them? Only yet another increase in their total losses.
Putin's announcement yesterday came after Ukrainian officials say a couple and their 12-year-old son were killed when a Russian shell hit a residential building in the southern Kherson region as they were celebrating the Christmas holiday. Meanwhile, the U.S., Germany, and France are sending more military aid to Ukraine. The latest U.S. aid totals $2.85 billion and provides 50 Bradleys. They're fighting vehicle tanks to Ukraine. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.